lost. Where am I?
I don't know. You're black. What happened to you, Kathy?
I lost myself. Hang on, let me see if I can get back on to you.
Hey guys, it is Brenda from the Paranormal Girls, along with Misty, Tanya, and Kathy. We are
I'm
back.
coming.
Kathy's in the dark right now, but she'll be here.
I'm
Back
coming.
for episode 2 of the Deep Dive Haunts. We are going to talk about Squirrel Cage Jail this week. I did actually have to go back and watch evidence. Let me get her added back on. Oh, remove, add. Are we back? Oh, maybe. I don't know why you're dark there, Kathy. Um, anyway, I did have to go back and watch the videos today to get a refresher on it. We've done a lot of um, locations since then. Not that it wasn't memorable, but like you always remember your very first one. Um, but I don't know what's going on with our thing right now. Kathy's in the black. Tanya popped off. Tanya wasn't with us at that location. There, we got her back. She wasn't at the location with us, but she is going to hang out with us tonight as much as she can while she's working, so she can kind of get some snippets and everything in, um, and get some idea about Squirrel Cage Jail for when we do go back. Kathy, what's going on with you?
She must still be gone. She might even have it on mute.
You might be muted, Kathy. I don't know. It doesn't show muted on my end, but okay, she is back. Let's remove this one, add this one. No, what is going on? Let's see. It's there. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Kathy. Um, let me. Kathy, if you can hear me, I'm going to send you the link on Messenger. Try going in that way. See if it works. I don't know. Tanya's black. I don't know. I don't know if she said her. Well, I don't know what's going on, but hopefully they're able to get back in. Maybe we'll talk about Squirrel Cage tonight. I can hear you, but we can't see you. It's black. You're black.
No, I.
Did you shut your camera off?
I'm backstage.
Oh, there you go. I gotcha. Let me remove that one. There we go. There we go. We got her back. Woohoo!
Just to let you know, it looks like Tanya is lagging from my end, so it's like she was going really slow.
Okay.
Or bad internet.
Okay. We got. Okay. Lord have mercy. All right. We're all back. Woo! Technical difficulties for sure. But we're all here now. Okay.
I know I'm in. I just can't see me on the screen. I don't even know if you can hear me.
Yeah,
we can hear you.
I can't. My audio's on.
Yeah, we can hear you and we can see you.
Everything's on.
Can you hear us?
Where am I?
Can you hear us? And she's gone.
Okay, let me. Can you hear us and see us now? Must not. All right, hang tight. Let me pull this one. Nope, that's the black one. Yeah, kick that one. Okay, let's try this one. Okay, can you hear us now? What the hell? It showed Kathy like 3 different times. So I thought in order to remove her from the one, I would like kick her. So I hope that really didn't kick her and she can get back in. Anyway, this is what happens when you're new to podcasting. You don't really do these. Like this is only the second one that I've been in charge of. So the technical difficulties we'll continue. Hi, Kathy, can you hear us?
And
Can you hear us, Miss Kathy?
I'm assuming something's up with her phone. I'll see if I can text her and get her on.
Okay.
I can't hear any of you.
All right. So anyway, hopefully the technical difficulties gets over soon and we can all start rolling. But while she is texting Kathy to see what is going on with her on her end, I'm going to go ahead and do a little backstory or a little history on Squirrel Cage Jail. We visited there on July 3rd, 2024. It was the day before 4th of July. There were fireworks going off. I think it might have hindered our investigation a little bit, maybe missing out on some noises or things like that that we could have gotten if we weren't there during that time of the year. However, it's not that we can't go back to there ever again because we can and we will.
Hi.
Hi, can you hear us now?
Yeah.
All
What I
right.
did was I totally went completely out of everything and just came back in.
Okay.
So
Kathy's back.
That's a
Yay.
good
Anyway,
idea.
Yay.
I was just going into a little bit of history and shared that we were there on July 3rd, 2024. Back history about Squirrel Cage Jail. It was hello out there. Welcome in. Say hi in the comments. It was
Hi.
it was
Hi.
built in 1885 and was considered one of the highest of high tech jails at that time, costing $30,000 to build, being completed in 5 months, and was continued in use until 1969. It was one of 18 jails out of the whole United States that was built to be one of the jails that I'm currently going to speak about, which was a 3-story, 90,000-pound revolving cell block jail facility with an apartment on the 4th floor where the jailer and his family lived. The wife cooked not only for the family, but she also cooked for all of the inmates as well. So, however many inmates was in there, that's how many meals she was cooking 3 times a day, every day. Um, the front part of the building housed offices for the jailer, the kitchen, trustees, and the women's quarters. There was also a little area that was for children, not that there was very many children there. Um, welcome back, Tanya. Not
Hey.
that there was very many children there, but when there was children, they actually had their own little room as well. And also there was an infirmary in there. The jail rotated by giant cranks that was turned by hand. So it was hand cranked. Um, and they were all pie shaped. The cells were all pie shaped. So if you can imagine a round cylinder with pie shaped cells, that's what this is. I have a picture of the model that I can share. I do have pictures that I caught off the videos that I am going to post after this live is over too, because some of the claims that we are going to talk about, I just want to post them for reference to you guys to know that we're not really crazy. It was things that we did really experience. Um, the the giant cranks, the wheels, the gears are so big that it took the jailer an entire day to rotate those cells one entire time. So he would crank it to put one cell in front of him, open the door, give him their food, close it, crank it again to the next cell, and did that for 3 floors. So it literally would take him an entire day to do like the full rotation for everybody. Now, I don't know. I didn't find it in the history. I don't know if he would do one cell on the third floor, then the second, then the first, then crank it and go to the next. I don't know how any of that worked, but it really truly was something out of their time. And the person that had to be the jailer would definitely had to have been somebody physically strong to be able to turn 90,000 pounds every day. Another thing that I just thought about is when there was a riot happening in one of the other floors, there was a on the second floor, there was a cutout on the floor that he literally could open and drop down to the first floor, and he would leave the biggest, burliest, badass inmate in charge of the second floor and third floor while he went down to the first floor to handle what was going on down there. What kind of criminals resided in the walls of Squirrel Cage Jail? Several. There were 2 murderers in there, at least, one being Cuff Johnson, the other Jake Bird. I am going to hit more on Jake Bird because he seems to predominantly have more information at the jail rather than Cuff Johnson. There was a forger, Frank Schofield. I don't remember. Was he like an accountant or something and forged a lot of I don't remember, but
I don't remember.
I think illegal, yeah, some type of illegal financing.
you
Yeah.
can go you guys can go to historic Squirrel Cage Jail and or Pottawatomie County Historical Society and find a bunch of information. There was also Mr. and Mrs. Brock along with their daughter. It didn't say how old the daughter was, but they were in jail for larceny. I do know there was other murderers in there. There was a bunch. And what was the thing? I know there was like a mob.
It was some kind of farmers or something that was protesting, and they took a bunch of them and put them in the jail.
Right. And
I can't remember.
yeah. And so these pie-shaped cells, I'm telling you guys, there are 2 beds in there that aren't even twin size. Like lay on your side, you might maybe get to lay on your back. And then you have like 2 foot of space between your bed and the wall. And then in the very back was like a rounded cutout, which is where the toilet was. And when these farmers that rioted or did the mob thing, I don't remember exactly what it was, when they got thrown into the jail as well, there were up to 6 people per cell. Because didn't they say they had like 30 additional people in there or something?
Yeah, it was like a lot of like 60 over 60 people more
Yeah.
that they were supposed to have.
Yeah. So they were already full capacity. And then they added all these other, maybe it was 60 instead of 30. But there were like 6 people to a pie shell cell or a pie
They're
piece.
small. They're small.
Terribly small. You feel like they look like a hamster wheel. I
Yeah,
mean,
for real.
And
it's a very
imagine,
inhumane gel. It's not, it's
and
not
imagine
it's
just
a
having
terrible
a
place.
limb sticking outside of a bar and then doing that thing and it gets caught and broken. You have to wait until they get it all the way open to be able to get any kind of help.
Yeah, you
And
got
you got all
to
those, you got
everything
people,
in.
well, you got all those people who are pushed together, and people are going to get hurt like that or suffocate or
Mm-hmm.
get killed because it's too many people.
Yeah,
They're
that
not going to have time to
rotating.
help them.
Right.
Didn't they
Yeah.
have? I think they had some incidents too where
They
somebody had an arm out or a hand
Yeah.
out. It was rotating and they got caught. So yeah,
Mhm.
the that jail was notorious for people sticking their legs out, their arms out, and stuff like that. So they would get them broke on purpose. So they would get
Yes.
taken to the hospital so they could try to escape.
To try to escape, they would deliberately,
Yeah, they
Yeah,
would
wasn't
try
there
to get an
the
appendage broke.
two axe
Insane.
killers that were in that jail before they fled and went into Nebraska?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I can't remember now.
Yeah, one of those I believe is Jake Bird,
It was
who I'm
Jake
going to
Yeah.
Bird
need
was
to
one
hit
of
on.
them. Yeah.
So when I was on the Potawatomi website, Squirrel Cage Jail website today, I clicked on the link to get more about it, and it took me to another website that was I typed it out. Oh, NorthOmahaHistory.com is where I'm getting this information from. Hello, welcome in. Jake Bird, he born in 1901, died in 1949, which means he was only 48 years old when they um
I believe they hung him.
as I say, yeah, I believe he was hung too. But it was
Mhm.
said he murdered 4 people and attacked 2 others around the Omaha area around 1928. After several years of it denying guilt, he admitted or confessed or claimed to have killed as many as 46 people in 10 other states other than Nebraska.
Right.
So he is like the biggest thing out there. There is also a mannequin out there of him on the floor. There was another guy. What was his name? He was another murderer, Charles Noel Brown. I think, if I remember right, didn't those two run around together for a little bit? Maybe those were the two that like did the escape thing.
Yeah, it might have
I
been them.
think so. I
But
think so.
Charles Brown was the last man to ever be hung in the state of Iowa. I do remember that. He was
They,
the last man. Go
I
ahead.
do believe they had a noose inside the jail.
They do. They
They
have,
do.
So
yeah, they do have the noose in there. Yep. That was supposedly used. Yep. And they have the death certificate of Jake Bird, right?
Mhm.
Um,
yeah,
so remind me, was Jake Bird the one that was sent to Washington?
He was, yeah.
Okay, I
But
couldn't
that's
remember if it was him or if it was another
it
person.
was Jake Bird only like actually spent maybe about 6 months at Squirrel Cage. And then he was transferred over into Washington State. And
Well,
I think that's where
wait,
he was um uh I think hung, death by hanging.
wasn't but was he the one that got out? He was out of jail.
He
And
did
he
get
was
out.
out for a long time, and then he got extradited to
Hmm.
Washington. Okay, was that
Yes,
him? Okay,
he got out.
I
And
didn't know. You stop it.
yeah, because he what was the family that was in there? Oh boy, the Striblings. So he must have been like a one of the gel hands or something, and his family were there. And before Jake Bird escaped, he went after them with an axe. And the wife, Mrs. Stribling, in her hospital bed, I remember them saying that she did say that it was Jake Bird, but they don't really know for sure. However, he when he was escaped, then they anyway. But he was the name that she gave out as the one that attacked her family with the axe too. So I
Hello,
don't
hello, hello.
know.
Yeah. Also on that, it was talking about how he said he had murdered like an 8-year-old child, an 8-year-old boy, and a bunch of stuff. And I didn't
Mhm.
want to add that because everybody can go out and do their own research on it. But even though he didn't spend a lot of time there, wasn't there another guy that spent time there that ended up going to like Brushy or Alcatraz?
Was it Brown? Maybe.
No.
I know this was
No,
one of
this
the
was another
first.
this was another big criminal that I think spent a little bit of time at Squirrel Cage before he got transferred
Mm-hmm.
out to Alcatraz or somewhere. I don't know, but
And
that's a history lesson. Um,
Mhm.
so anyway, that's a little bit of history about Squirrel Cage Jail. It is an actual fascinating place to go investigate, and I'm glad Tanya wants to go to get in on that, and I'm excited to go back.
Me
Um,
too.
so we'll go back and do that. But okay, so now we're going to get started on our investigation while we were at the Squirrel Cage Jail. To start out, we were upstairs in the jailer's apartment, reminding you guys it's on the fourth floor. The jail is 3 stories, and the apartment was above that. Up in the apartment, I am going to do this one more little snippet of history. Up in the apartment, in the middle, is a little room that had a doorway on it. And when you opened it up, it was the ventilation for the bathrooms. Remember, I said hello. Remember, I said bathrooms were at the back of the cells and it was kind of rounded. And so that's where they would do. Well, all of the smell had to go somewhere. So it would filter up the middle, like up through the jailer's apartment. I don't know if that stench would have been horrific at that point because you got to remember 1800s, 4 stories up, no air conditioning.
Yeah, definitely no air
It's
conditioning.
hot. Like, I don't know.
Ugh.
I really couldn't imagine what that would have even been like. But anyway, so you can walk around it, and like that was the upstairs. There was like a couple of bedrooms, a bathroom, and then like a living area. Again, no kitchen because the kitchen was downstairs on the very first floor. So we sat in the living room and conducted questions. We just went through, asked random questions. I think Kathy turned on her little spirit box on her phone. Mind you, this is our second investigation ever that we ever went on. We still didn't have a lot of equipment compared to what we do now. So we used what we had. We did have a K2 out pretty much the entire time and got huge spikes, even in the living room, with the K2 meter going off, sitting in the middle of the floor with nothing around it. Excuse me, it would spike to orange, yellow to orange. Not quite red, but almost. After we were in there for a little bit, we shifted towards the parents' bedrooms. One of the claims was the huge spikes that would come on K2 meters over the center of the bed. At that point, we did, I mean, I think we initially did a thing. My K2 meter would spike to red over the bed, no matter where I put it at on the bed. And even getting closer to the parents' bedroom, it would spike red before entering in. Misty was getting spikes on her K2
Yeah.
in the beginning. So there was that. What do you guys remember in that first part? In that first part of that investigation between those two rooms that stood out? You
For
know, like,
me, it felt like when we were in what the sitting room or the living room was where the piano is, it just felt like something because there's like a little hallway there, with the bedroom. And it just felt like something was kept watching, maybe leaning out of the bedroom doorway to see us. It just felt like something was there. Something was leaning in and then going back, back out and then leaning back in. And so it was kind of just an odd area right there between their bedroom in that room space. You know, on the spirit box that I had when I stood by the bed, you know, at that time, you know, I'm very green and I'm not, you know, sure exactly what I want to know. And when I know something came over that and it was telling me Satan, you know, and stuff like that. And I was like, I ended that real fast. I was like, nope, I'm not going to go there, you know. But that was me being green. Now I'd probably continue on and say, tell me more. You know,
And
tell me more. Show me something.
that bedroom that she's talking about is actually the parents' bedroom.
Hmm.
What about you, Misty?
Pretty much the same. The living room, you kind of felt like you're kind of being watched while you were in there, but it wasn't uncomfortable or anything. It was just like I'm keeping an eye on you kind of thing.
Yeah.
But when you went in that bedroom, I don't know why, it just felt kind of heavier, like something was in there with you compared to like just watching you. If you felt like the air was thicker, it's denser in the room. That's the best way I could explain it.
I honestly don't know what it is about that bedroom or why over the middle of, and mind you, the beds that are in there, granted, I don't think any of the furniture in there was original. I mean, it might have been, I don't know. But the two beds that were in there were like two twin beds pushed together. So there's like space in between them. But like in the very center of the beds, lengthways and widthways, the K2 activity is just insane.
Hmm.
We went under the bed, we went all around the bed, like everything. It was crazy.
Yeah. I think
So,
even the clothing in that bedroom is just prop. There's, yeah, no real evidence that that actually belonged to any of them. I think they were just prop.
and
Yeah.
there are mannequins all over in this facility, and gel cells. There's cardboard cutouts in gel cells. There's a mannequin in the parents' bedroom. There's one out in the front entry when you first walk into the apartment. I mean, they're just all over the place. So if you don't remember they're there, they will startle
Jump
you
scare.
Mm-hmm.
just because of that fact. So we tried really hard to remember that they were there. I got caught off guard a couple times. I'm going to actually get into that story a little bit later because that was after we came back up to the apartment. So I'm going to keep moving. After some time, we came back into the living room area, used the spirit box a few more, a little bit longer. Um, I think I actually took my SB7 box out and was doing sweeps to see what we could get. Um, we did actually get a couple of responses. Um, that was, I didn't remember, like, we didn't hear them at the time. I didn't remember those when I initially did the review, but of course, it's been a long time. But I picked up on them today. And the first one said, thank you. And it was a male's voice. And then the second one was, there it is. And that was a male's voice. And another thing, while I was doing that today, it was really weird because Kathy would say something. Um, like there was a comment she made about back pain. And right after that, there was a male voice that said, yes, it is, or something along those lines. And I was like, wait a minute. And I would go back. But like three different times after you would say something, a male voice would come in and
Oh,
like they were acknowledging what you were saying with
answering
a
me.
reply. And I'm just like, wait a minute. Like it was so weird to listen to that today. I was like, that is some crazy.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and um, by the way, I also wanted to ask, I don't know if you remember or not, but Miss Misty,
Hmm.
but in the video, because I'm sitting on the floor, they're sitting in chairs. And all of a sudden, past my foot, comes this little white light up the floor,
Remember it.
and then it like comes over towards me, and then it goes back, and then it like darts, but it almost reminded me of like a laser light, like a
Yeah.
laser pin light on the floor. It I gear that question towards Misty because in the video there is a cabinet with a bunch of glass panels on it, and you can clearly see the reflection of me and Kathy in the glass, and we're not
Mhm.
doing anything, like we're not touching. And I couldn't remember if you had like your laser grid out or a laser pen or whatever, like zooming across the floor. I took a little video of it, which I'm gonna post, but that's what it reminds me of is somebody had a pen and they were just like going along the floor. But I don't remember if you did that or not. And I mean it's a
No. There would have been a reason to. I only did the grid light downstairs in the doctor's office or whatever it was. That was the only time we did do that.
it was weird because it like
Yeah.
came from the windows in between me and that cabinet. And I mean, Grant, it's like not even this big, right?
Right. Well, and you, me, or Kathy would have said something just for the fact that that's not a normal thing to happen.
Well, but it
Yeah.
wasn't dark at that point either. It was still light out.
I
But we would
remember
have said,
that, and it couldn't have been a bug because there was no bugs in
No,
there.
no. Well,
but
this was
Clear up on the
along.
fourth floor. There's yeah.
This
one
they
of
did
you
it
would have
with.
said something about it, though. If you saw it, then you would have said something like, "Why are you playing with the light?" Or I would have said, "Hey,
Mhm.
something's up with my thing."
Right.
This is legitimately on the floor, moving up the floor. I took a video of it. Hold on.
We'll have to look at it later.
So I don't know. I'm gonna.
We can
Yeah, it's
see
not
it.
gonna work. You'll see it. It'll
If
pop
I can see it
by.
from here.
You see it,
Yeah, that's really bright.
I couldn't
right?
see it.
But
But I
there's no
remember
telling.
we caught it on there, so on the
But
camera.
it
There's no
was.
telling.
It floats around the floor like that, like moves, almost like somebody's doing this with a light
Mhm.
for like a solid minute. And it
Hmm.
didn't happen before, it didn't happen after. So I was like, I don't remember if you might have had one out, like and I mean, if not, and that was hello out there, if not, and that was good evidence that we caught, hey, kudos to us.
Yeah.
But if it was a
Yeah.
light,
Yeah.
that one of us was using that we don't remember, then that's fine too. I'm not
I,
saying that it was paranormal. I'm not saying that it wasn't. I'm just saying that that was just really weird that it
well,
appeared
if there's a
out there.
yeah, if there's a possibility that it could have been me without remembering, then I would just say it needs to be looked at a little bit more closely until we know for a fact.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You can't.
Yeah. I just it was just weird. And that light is very bright. And it's like on the carpet. Like it's not above the
Yeah.
on the carpet. So hello
So
out there. Thanks
that
for
makes
joining. Make sure you say hello in the comments. Let us know who's here. Um, so that was just a really weird thing that I picked up on today. Like I said, I'm not saying it's paranormal. It was weird. It was just something that happened again. It didn't happen the rest of the night. It didn't happen before. It was just that one time.
Mhm.
yeah.
But
Well,
it
something to
moved
keep
around
an
the
eye on.
floor for like a minute in various directions. So I don't know. After some, oh, wait, that I just read that. After that, we decided that we were going to go all the way downstairs to the first floor, and then work our way back up to the apartment, um, stopping at each floor. Hello, Spirits and Marco, Miss Kate. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Well, I'll be back in 1 second.
Okay. So, but we decided that we were going to go all the way downstairs and go on the first floor, walk around, do some recording, some EVP work, and stuff like that. On the first floor, there was one of the solitary confinements.
Hmm.
There was the shower. Hello out there. They got to take showers once a week. And it literally was a little square gel cell type place, big enough for like one person, well, two people, maybe three at the most. In between gel cells, it was
Yeah.
yeah,
Didn't it rotate and let them out to shower on that platform just long enough, and then
yeah.
and wasn't there a time when they said, did they in the beginning early on have to take their showers with their clothing or something on? I'm thinking that was said
I think
to
yeah,
wash their
they did.
clothes.
to
Yeah, to be
wash their
able
clothes. It
yep, to be
was
able to wash your clothes, they had to take a shower with their clothes on. Yep, because
Mhm.
that was the only way their clothes got clean. Yep, yep. Um,
And uh,
yep.
imagine the heat and imagine the weather, how hot
Well,
it gets and how
No
cold it
air.
is.
yeah. Anybody that doesn't
Ugh.
know much about, we're talking about Squirrel Cage Jail in Council Bluffs, Iowa. In our investigation there, it was the second place we investigated. So we are talking about that location tonight. Don't worry, you guys have been coming across my feed so much, and I know exactly where you guys are. And we're already planning on coming out that way. I almost want to make a third location drop just so we can go down to Spirits of Marco as well. I just don't know how the rest of the team feels about it because I haven't talked to them about it yet. But
Wink,
uh,
wink, wink, wink.
wink, wink, yeah, wink, wink. But anyway, that's for another day. Um, but, so uh, yeah, summers in Iowa are very humid. And I know a lot of people say like the southern states are humid, especially along the coastal line and stuff like that. Here in Iowa, in the summer, it gets so humid. Like our humidity will be at like 110%, and it'd be 105 degrees outside. And like when you walk outside, it literally will take your breath away. So if you could imagine that in a brick building that has a 90,000 pound steel
Cage.
cage in it,
You're in a hamster wheel.
and like during the time where they were overpopulated, 6 inmates to a cell, like that had to be horrendous. Like that just had to be. Ugh. Anyway, back to what we were
Oh,
doing.
and
Yeah,
it had men, women, and children.
yeah.
So, I mean, it had children in
The,
there too.
They had
well,
families in there.
the women had their own room,
And
which
so
was
did
on
the
one
children.
side of the building. The children had their own room. The only people that were in the actual cells were men. Um, and like I said, it was
Wow.
right before the 4th of July. There were a lot of fireworks going off. So even though we were trying to add that in, we were like, hey, were you in here when it was during the 4th of July? Maybe did you get to see any fireworks while you were in here? Because there are windows at like the towards the top of the jail. Um, you know, like we were trying to like incorporate that in, or like how did that make you feel hearing all those kabooms going off, knowing that you couldn't do anything about it? Like maybe it was an anxious person that couldn't, even though they were in prison or in jail, maybe they couldn't handle that and they had anxiety really bad, so maybe that was a bad experience for them every year. So we were trying to think of all scenarios or all types of scenarios to try to see if we could get interactions with that. We did actually catch what we thought or saw what we thought was a shadow in the shower. I don't know if you guys remember that, but I remember it catching a shadow go through there. We do make mention of it on the thing. I actually remember that itself. Um,
Yeah.
at that point, I weighed a lot more than I weigh now. I would probably be able to fit in solitary confinement now, which
Yeah.
that would be interesting. But at
Let's
the
try
time,
it. Let's try it on our second trip.
so yeah, solitary confinement. Literally, the doorway is like a foot wide. It's like so small, and it's just a long little hallway. But I do want to go back in there to that. There's a big picnic table in there on the first floor that they said they think inmates built, like had the wood brought in and then built it after it was in there, because it would not fit in any of the doorways. I am telling you, when you guys go out of the front part of the building over into the jail cells, the doorways are literally like a foot or a foot and a half wide. Um, when we were out there, we were turning sideways to even get through them because they're very, very narrow.
Yeah.
And that's how it was back in the day. So, the jailer couldn't have been very big, but he had to be super muscular to be able to rotate the wheel. Only imagine the negative energy. Oh, I know. The negative energy in there, period. Because I don't know if you caught it, Kate, but there was murderers, there was forgers, there was larceny people. I don't know. There was a bunch.
Mhm.
Of inmates in there. And then, like I said, we mentioned earlier, there was farmers that had a riot. I think that was the big mob thing, and they ended up arresting a bunch of them and adding like 60 people on top. Was it 30 people? Something about 30 sticks in my head. Did it have
Um,
30 people originally?
I can't.
I don't
I
I
can't
remember
don't know.
that.
remember.
I
It was
remember,
something.
yeah,
But
talking about it, but I don't remember the number.
yeah, and if you didn't catch it, Kate, this rotating gel, the gel cells were pie shaped, enough room for two people. And after this farmers rioting thing, there were 6 people to a cell. 6. That's a lot. You'll just watch this way. Hi, Tanya. Um, yeah, there was 6 people to a little itty bitty gel. Yeah, ridiculous. Anyway, I was asking the girls before we started. I said, why, oh, why, when we were investigating and we shut the lights off and all that stuff, did I not turn my IR light on the first and second floor? All of my videos are completely black. But when we go back upstairs into the apartment for the end of the night, I had my IR light on. I don't know. It was weird. What do you guys remember about the first or second floors? Because we kind of just hit a lot on the first floor, but what do you guys remember about the second floor over in the cells part, that we might have, that we may not be remembering at the moment? We'll get into the front part of the building. I just want to talk about the gel itself, for the moment. What do you guys remember?
Mhm.
Anything different? I
It
know
was
the
actually.
I'm trying to think here.
I was gonna say I know the vibe on the second floor was
It
way different
it
Yeah.
changes.
than
Yeah,
on the first.
yeah.
And it depended on like what side you were on. If you were on the.
Yeah, because when you go in, you can go right or you can go left. And
Mhm.
didn't the third floor was for the hardened criminals, right? Like the worst of the worst.
And
Weren't they on the
that's
third?
no lighting up there. It was dark.
Yeah, but wasn't that
Kept
they were on the third floor, right?
Yeah, and very the atmosphere is very thick up there.
Yeah,
And you felt like I mean, you're totally being watched. You can feel it.
yeah.
And
So
but it feels like, it feels like there's a line drawn or something there. They cannot come past that door. That's how I felt, like they were right against that door, but they cannot come out.
right.
They're blocked with something somehow. So
Wasn't that door locked too?
That door wasn't locked. Okay, so
It was
before we get
open.
to the third, because we're gonna get to that too, but
Okay.
before we get to the third floor, back on the second floor. So remember, I talked about Jake Bird, and he
Mhm.
was the infamous one of the infamous axe killers. He was housed on the second floor, mind you, not even on the third floor where the worst of the worst were. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they deciphered him being able to be. That's all right, Tanya. You were there. You were there mentally and emotionally, but
Yeah.
I I don't know how they drew the line between him being a murderer and being able to be housed on the second floor and having the worst of the worst on the third floor. Now, um, again, we'll get to the third floor in a minute. But the one thing I will say, because I'll forget by the time we get there, is when you get to the third floor, you have the doorway to go in where he can turn the cells to see that cell. There is no way to walk. There is no floor or anything to walk around at all.
Right.
Like it's only to open to crank the cell, give them their food or whatever, and then crank it again. Like
Yeah.
there is no place to move. Like the first floor, you can walk all the way around the cell. The
Right.
second floor, you can walk out a little bit and then it stops. The third floor, there is no access. The only access is that gel cell right in front of you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So continuing on the second floor, um, we had went into the infirmary and we were in there and we were filming when we went in. Um, okay, wait a minute. I have to back up. I'm confused at the moment. Um, what floor was the kids' ward on? The first floor, right?
Uh,
Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
No.
no.
When you first walk in the building, the office is there. You walk in to go around the first floor, right?
Right.
Yeah, and you got the
And
stairs
you go up
I
one flight of stairs.
think
And
it's on the second floor. So
because you have
we're going up the
okay,
staircase to them.
okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So yeah, okay, okay. Go ahead, Misty. But I think I'm back.
so I think that first floor that you walk up to or second floor you walk up to is the kids and the woman's and the infirmary and then you go up and then it's the
No. So the kids and the women's,
Mm-hmm.
the trustee's office, that's on the second floor. When we went
oh
up
the trustees.
yeah, when we
Yeah.
went up to the third floor, that's where the infirmary is.
Yeah.
It's the floor above the room above where the kids ward is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Skipping the infirmary for now. We're going back down to the
Because
second floor.
because isn't it across from yeah, okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. There is a lot of stairs in this facility, let me tell you. Okay. Um so what um we were talking a little bit about the kids ward before we started. You guys go ahead and touch on that. Um
Well, I wish that their their cells, okay, their cells, and at that time they did not allow us to be able to go into the cells, so the cells doors were shut, unlocked. So whatever we did, we had to conduct there, kind of in the small little hallway, and the one cell straight on in the back there's like it's like a small hallway, so you get a cell here, and straight on there's another cell, and the cell in the back is where you can feel the presence of, I felt, two small children, and I felt that one was older than the other. um they were crouched down in a corner, one was trying to protect the other. um, I felt like they were very they were afraid. They were afraid to come out. They were afraid to show themselves. But we did conduct a little bit of EVPs and stuff there. Of course, me, I love trigger objects, so I'm trying to lure them with candy. Put some candy in the cell for them before I left.
Her
But
peppermint candies.
yeah, some peppermint candies. I gotten better at my trigger objects since then. But yeah, but you can definitely feel them in there, and
Yeah.
I don't know if Misty picked up on any communication with them or not. But I'll leave that to you, Misty, on what you felt there.
Oh God, I remember telling y'all that they wanted to go home. That was
Yeah.
like the biggest thing, and I was like, it was sad. I didn't know what else to do for them because they just felt really sad, and it was a depressing
It was
moment, honestly.
emotional. We felt we felt it. We felt a lot of sorrow with the children.
Yeah.
And there really wasn't a lot of children that was housed there.
Mm-mm.
Um,
No, it was
and
mostly children that were orphaned too.
yeah, yeah, but they weren't there for long periods of time, is what I'm saying.
No,
Like it was a very short. Um,
it
yeah,
was a stay until they got taken to an orphanage or wherever they were
Or
going.
if a family member could come up and get them, or
mhm,
yeah, but that's traumatizing to a child. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. So then after that, we ventured up to the next flight of stairs, which is to the third floor cells. Um, I held my little EVP recorder. I had it on. They have a rope across. Like you literally cannot even step into the third floor at all. So they have a rope across. So I'm standing right next to the rope and I'm like this, holding my EVP recorder as far over by the jail cells as I could get. That for being a second investigation, I was pretty um I don't know, not thinking about much. I'm like, I just want to get evidence. Like, I want you to talk into this recorder. So it wasn't like it didn't scare me to do so. Hindsight is 2020, and I'm now thinking you're an idiot. Like, what if something would have grabbed you? Like, you would have dropped your recorder, never got it back because it would have fallen in between the cracks. Um, but anyway, so I'm holding it over there, and the whole time, so let's say I'm like here. Misty's over here on the stairs and Kathy's back here. We're kind of like sitting in a triangle. And I'm trying to ask questions. And the whole time, all Misty and Kathy can keep saying is, they're watching us. They're watching us. We feel like meat. Like they love your hair. And I'm just like, what? And then I actually felt like the creepiness actually hit me and I was like, oh, I'm like this that was just crazy.
the red hair girl.
It's
We
and
want to
at that
talk to the
time it
red hair
wasn't like
girl.
this. At that time it wasn't like this. It was all red.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I get called it out in a lot of places, and you guys will learn that as we go along in our investigations. And in our episode, you guys will know and figure out I get called out a lot. Still don't know why. Still to this day, I get called out a lot. Don't know why. But yeah, Kathy was like, "Yeah, they like your red hair," and like I don't know if
Almost
it
like
was,
a wolf whistle going on for you.
Mhm.
and like
Yeah.
when I say I have never felt so violated in my life,
Oh,
like it, like not to the point where I ran out of there. Like I still stayed there, but it was creepy to feel like I was being stared at.
yeah.
All three of us, for that matter, was being stared at like meat from these
Mhm.
super hard criminals that we honestly really don't know anything about, because they don't really talk about the people that were up there. They just say they were the worst of the worst. And yeah, they didn't have lights, so they were in the dark.
Oh, it
Like,
was pitch black.
yeah,
It
it was pitch black. But
was-
yeah, like darker than dark, pitch black. But so after that, so when you come up the stairs, there's like a little landing, and then a little, like 3 or 4 more stairs onto like another little landing, but it's still all one floor. So then we went up and we sat down. We went into the infirmary and went in and sat down. And I'm missing an entire video from the infirmary. It got corrupted somehow. It was really weird. The video before it is completely fine. The video after it is completely fine. The video before, you see us walking into the infirmary. I sit down on the floor. I'm getting, like we're getting everything set up, getting ready to do our little investigation thingy, or investigating methods. And as I'm filming, they, they have cameras everywhere. So there's a camera up in the peak. And so I'm looking at it. Well, as I'm looking at it, I don't know if that had something to do, because I'm looking at it through my screen. So I'm looking at it through my camera. And I don't know if that camera has, I don't know if cameras have effect on other cameras. Like, I don't know how that goes. But anyway, as we're sitting there, all of a sudden, mind you, I'm holding my camera. I'm not, because I know when you flip the screen, it'll flip it upside down. I didn't do that because I'm watching my screen. But all of a sudden, it's like my whole thing flips upside down, and it's upside down for the longest time. The longest time. And I even turned it. I'm like, look at this. And they could see. I'm like, look at this. It's upside down. And Misty's like, mine's not upside down. Like, mine's right side up. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And then pretty soon it flips back over the other way. And then we got done in there. And so that whole video of it flipping upside down, flipping back, it's completely gone. It was corrupted. It never loaded. But so you see the video of us walking into the infirmary, starting our little time in that room.
Yeah.
And then the next video is us getting up and leaving the infirmary. So any physical evidence that I even had on my camera was completely gone. If somebody can explain that, please do. I don't know how that worked. I don't know how that happened. But there was some weird, wasn't there something? We felt something. So like when you go into the infirmary, you have to step down a couple steps just to get into the room. Into the immediate left was a toilet. And then there was a little area over to the left. And if I remember correctly, we kind of kept looking at that corner because I think, Misty, you said you kept feeling something or seeing something over in that corner.
Yeah.
I don't remember what that was.
Did you do a grid in that corner?
Yeah,
I thought we did. And
we did do a grid in that corner. So,
and we did it the whole room. And then I think you turned it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm wondering, because really, I'm wondering if it didn't come from behind us because of where we were sitting.
Well, you were the one that had your back to the door.
Yeah.
I was sitting in front of the bed. I think Kathy was on the bed, and you were on the step over by the door. So you actually had your back to what would have went out down to the 3rd floor cells.
Yeah.
okay.
And I think on the other side of that is where the trustees' room was. So it was like the infirmary and the trustees, because the women's apartment was on the 2nd floor with the kids. So I think the trustees was there.
Because he could get down to the other cells and help everybody else.
Yeah, because when you walk in, like when I said, when you walk in, to the right is the office. And I think that was the jailer's office. Because when people came in, that's where they got processed and then put in the thing. And then the kitchen was right across from that. And then the 2nd floor was the kids' ward and the women's ward. third floor was the infirmary and the trustees' rooms. Okay. So anyway, anything else from the third floor you guys are remembering?
Mm, can't think off the top of my head.
I can't either.
It was just like I said, it was that one weird feeling in that room, but you can't. My video only was on for so long, but I had no audio because at that time I didn't realize I needed a mic, which again, rookie mistake, I
Well,
should
Green,
have.
we're only second investigation in. We don't, we don't know everything, but
Yeah.
so Kate says, I 100% believe the camera flip was paranormal. We have security cameras throughout the church, and every once in a while, a random camera will flip. I've asked our spirits to flip it back because I don't know how it happens. So yeah, thank you for that. I don't know. I'm holding the camera. I literally know how to turn the camera on. Um, I know how to record. I know how to download stuff onto my computer. Like, I literally don't know much more than that. But with her saying that, us having that camera flip, we will get to this again when we talk about Edinburgh. But do you remember, Miss T?
Hmm.
My camera flipped upside down, and I came all the way down the hallway to go in and talk to my brother. I'm like, flip my camera back. I don't know why it's upside down. Flip my camera back. And he couldn't figure it out. And I'm holding my camera, and he couldn't figure it out.
Right.
And so I left and I walked all the way back down the hall, and then all of a sudden it flipped. So, oh my gosh, to think about it happened at Squirrel Cage, not thinking about
Yeah.
it now. And then it happened at Edinburgh. And then where were we recently where it actually happened to you and Kathy both at the same time?
Beatty.
Beatty.
Was it
Yeah.
Beatty? Your guys'
Yeah, it was a big.
flip.
It was
But
Beatty.
remember, I had that picture I took on my phone that flipped too, and that was
Yeah.
at
Well,
Mercy.
yeah. So that,
At Mercy, we got a lot of that
but
upside down.
I'm just talking about the camera, like recording on the camera, and it just like
Yeah.
flipping. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
so that's something that we need to like remember when we're investigating, because now that we sit and we're talking about it, it's happened several times.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, we're just not putting two to two together, maybe. Yeah. So next week we'll talk about Edinburgh, and then the week after that is um Old Mercy Hospital.
Old
And
Mercy.
let me tell you guys, Old Mercy Hospital is going to be a treat for you guys, because we definitely have some evidence from that
Yeah, that's a good one.
place. I think the spirits are trying to draw energy or just play game. I know that they affect equipment. Like, I know they draw electricity, but to have that stuff happen, and then like if they don't want something to be seen, or if they're caught on video, I wholeheartedly believe that they will corrupt that file or that video so you can't watch it, because they don't want you to see what was there. Do you know what I mean? Um, it's just weird now to think about it, and how many times our cameras, like, my camera hasn't flipped since Edinburgh, so I guess that's a good thing for me. But it's
Yeah.
been happening to other team members. Um, so that's interesting. That's interesting. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Mhm.
No. And I think Beatty was the last one we've all been together on too. So
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Melbourne after no,
Malvern,
Melbourne was
Malvern was,
before.
yeah, Malvern was before
before
Beatty.
Beatty. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Then
One
I
of
broke my foot.
them, I have to look back, but on one of them investigations, I could not keep my battery. It was draining, continually draining. So now I know I'm going to have to have a pocket full of fresh batteries
We
and
just need to get you.
memory cards.
We need to get you a charger, a portable charger. We
Yep.
need to get you one of these. You're only $20. They last forever.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, we kind of drifted off. But well, no, but it was interesting to get that insight from somebody that actually has a paranormal location that has the same thing happen. So, I mean, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we got done in the infirmary, we had about 20 minutes left. We only did a 4-hour investigation at this point because we actually had to come back. Some of us had to go to work the next day, and we were out there on a Sunday night. Believe you, maybe it was July 2nd we were out there. Yeah, I think it was July 2nd because we wouldn't have had to work on the 4th of July. So I think it was July 2nd we were out there. Kathy, bless her heart, she went to work the next day. I did not. I called in sick.
I did. I got up and I went.
She got up and went. So
Lots of coffee,
we
but I
had about
went.
we had about 40 minutes left of our investigation, and we wanted to go back upstairs into the apartment because when we were originally up there during the summer, it doesn't get dark early and it was still light out. So we wanted to go back up in the dark to experience whatever we could. So did I even mention when we left the first floor? I don't even think I did. So when we left the apartment the first time, I said we need to make sure we close the door. One, because the air conditioner is on in there, and the girl that was downstairs said, make sure you keep the door shut because the air conditioning is on. And the other, you know what? Oh yeah, it recorded. Never mind. Squirrel. And another claim is that door opens on its own. Because I remember I said we need to close it. And so coming out, Kathy's like, this door is heavy. Like, it's a really heavy door. And so Misty was the last person out. I go down the first flight of stairs. I'm turning around with the camera, aiming back up the stairs. Kathy's next, Misty's at the top. And you can see enough of the door to see that it's closed, right? So we come out of the infirmary, and mind you, the pathways and stuff aren't very wide, even on the front side of the building. So when we come out of the infirmary, we go to close the door, and Kathy goes down the steps, and Misty had already went down the steps and around and was coming back up the steps on the other side. And I close the screen door and I look up, and that apartment door is wide open. Wide open. And I ask on the video, I'm like, did we not close that door on the way down? And Misty said on the video, she's like, I don't remember doing it. But I clearly saw on the video today that the door was shut. So the claim of that door opening on its own actually happened. I can prove both in videos if you want me to. I tried to do snippets today. I was not successful at it. Me and VideoPad are acquaintances. We're not friends, but I can try to do it. I can post it out. You can see where the door was closed. You can see where the door was opened. Us being in any of the places that we were in, the stairs are metal grates. If it would have been the lady in the office, we would have heard her going up and down the stairs because you can clearly hear footsteps on the stairs. So at any time, if she would have went up there and opened the door, we would have heard it going on throughout the night. So it was not her as well. Plus, I don't think she even moved out of the office.
No.
I don't
No,
think
she
she
stayed
moved from
down
behind
there.
it.
Yeah, she did not. No. And I know that, we knew, instructions were close that door because it's the only place up there that has air conditioning.
Hi,
Keep
Mara.
that door shut.
Correct.
And where?
So,
Because of the air conditioning being on.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. So
I mentioned before we started, I said, I want to go back. And when I go back, I want to put a camera on a tripod facing up the stairs to see if we can
Mhm.
catch that door opening, because that would be like super awesome.
Yeah.
But because it happened, we just didn't catch it because we were very limited on cameras. We were very green. We didn't know what we were doing. Um, so we go ahead and we go back up into the apartment. We decide where it is that we were going to go. We had been into the bathroom part earlier. You only repeat it. You didn't repeat yourself on our side, so you're good. Um, uh, squirrel, squirrel. We had been in the bathroom earlier. We didn't get anything. The other bedroom was locked off because they had stuff stored in there. So we could never go in that. So it was either go back into the living room area or go back into the parents' bedroom. So we decided we'd go back into the parents' bedroom. So when you walk in, the beds are right smack dab in the middle of the floor. And you can walk this way, like walk out this way. And there are big picture windows, arched windows above the bed. And
Mhm.
back in the corner is a mannequin. Yep, I got a picture. I'm going to post it. There's a mannequin back there that has no arms. That is going to be an important, an important key
Yeah.
statement here in a few
Very
minutes.
important.
But it was a female mannequin. It had no arms. When you first walk in, there's a dresser to the side. There's like a wardrobe to the side. Kathy's standing right by the dresser. Misty's over by the wardrobe. I go up and I'm back in the corner by the mannequin. So we are like all at different angles. Of course, the only people filming are Misty and I, because we are the only ones that have cameras.
Yeah.
So I'm filming, this way. She's filming this way. So I have her and Kathy, and she's got me, and I don't know if she had Kathy, um, but as we're going into this room, they're not in there yet. They were talking about, Kathy was talking about how she really didn't like the parents' room because there was something off, and she just felt that there was something that didn't want her in there.
Mhm.
And as I'm in there with my camera recording, all of a sudden this ball of light appears in the middle of the room, or in the middle, like 4 or 5 feet up off the floor. It appears and it shoots up over the bed. And I tell him, I'm like, I was like, oh, I just caught an orb. I'm pretty sure it was an orb. And I say on the video, it could have been a bug, but I think it was an orb. And I know a lot of people have different opinions about orbs or whatever, but I don't remember who of us was running their app, but I think it was me. And it came across, it said, "Did you see me?" And this was within a minute after that orb. And I said, I don't know. I said, unless you showed yourself as a bright color of light, we probably didn't see you. Um, so it it was really interesting, and you guys were like, an orb. They're like, when? And I'm like literally just now, like I literally, because I was looking through my screen. I'm like literally, and so they, like I said, they ended up coming on in at that point. I'm back by the
Mhm.
mannequin, and all of a sudden I get, I don't know, one finger, three fingers, four fingers, I don't know. But I get this right here in the back of my shoulder enough where it makes me move. And my first reaction is, oh, like, because I turned
Mhm.
at that point when it happened, and I thought, oh, I bumped the mannequin, like, my bad. That was my first initial reaction. Oh, my bad. And I turned around to see that I'm still like 2 feet away from the mannequin, and the mannequin wasn't moving. Like if I would have bumped her, she still would have been, like wobbling a little bit or turned or whatever. Not moved at all. That's the reason why I said the key words right there was a mannequin with no arms, because that was the very first time I got touched in a
Mhm.
location. And it was hard enough, like, you're in my space, you need to move, like, go. And so I moved over and I got in between Kathy and Misty, and I'm standing in the doorway. And I pan back around 3 or 4 times. I have this mannequin on film. I took a picture of it. There's no arms on this mannequin at all.
Yeah.
Not near the wall. Like there was no rhyme, reason, or nothing for me to get poked. Over in the doorway, Misty and Kathy, they wear vests so they can carry like all their little doodads, like their recorders, flashlights, all that stuff. I carry a backpack, but she went black on us again. But they have vests. Oh, she's back.
My phone was ringing.
Oh, but anyway, so Misty has a belt on her vest, and this belt is very stiff and doesn't really move. Okay. But somehow, some way, she's fiddling around. She's trying to do something. She's not moving, not turning or nothing. But all of a sudden, I feel a brush against my leg. And when I look down, her belt is moving. And I am like, do not. I'm like, y'all don't have permission to messing with me like this. I'm like, you cannot touch me. That is not allowed. So Miss Misty, our channeler, and you guys are going to learn as we go farther into these investigations. She is also our protector. She looks around and I should say during this time, Kathy is running a spirit box. And the only word that came through for the longest time was Japanese. Nothing else.
Yeah.
No words, no nothing. It was just Japanese. And after I said, you're not allowed to touch me, like, I don't want to be touched. You're not allowed to touch me. Misty goes, I just heard a male voice. And Kathy's like, I heard a male voice at the same time. And the word they both heard and said at the same time was impossible.
Mm-hmm.
But I should actually back up because I missed I missed one little detail. So anyway, I said, nobody, you're not allowed to touch me. Misty said something about like, go ahead and touch me or whatever, because I'm not putting up with that shit. And right after that is when they both said they heard a male and the word was impossible. And I was like, okay, like whatever. And on the video, you can hear the word impossible. And then after that was a grunt. It was like, "Ruh."
Yeah, I remember that. The growl.
And then I walk back out of the doorway, not clear over by the mannequin, but around in the middle of the bed. We're doing videos with the K2 meters. Mine's pegging like crazy on the bed. Misty's is dead. Like it's on, but it's not fluctuating at all. But mine's like fluctuating to red. And we make references about hearing footsteps.
Yeah.
Like, and I think they were coming towards the bedroom. I don't remember. But
Out in that little hallway, right?
Yeah, heard it a few times. So after that, I think we were in there about 10, 15 minutes because when we went back out to the living area, sitting room area, we had about 20 minutes left of our investigation. And Kathy did an Estes method and Misty did an Estes method.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to let you girls talk about what you were feeling during your Estes methods, because I know you each had your own experiences and like what the deciding factor was when you decided to pull out from doing, like being done with the Estes method. So I don't know who wants to go first. I don't care. Whoever wants to talk about their Estes method, that remembers their Estes method.
Kathy, you want to go first?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't care. Whoever wants to do it.
I mean, I don't remember a whole lot of my Estes. I don't think I stayed in it very long because for some reason, every time I would have, the voices come through and everything, it wanted to know, am I a necromancer? And then it would, want to say, hey, Satan's real and things like that. So I don't think I was under it very long. I think I had some foreign uh language come through. But I remember I don't think I stayed with it very long. And usually when I'm using Estes, I feel like I'm running, which is a weird sensation in my body. My body can be still, but I feel like I'm running and I get out of breath, which is really odd. So yeah,
I
that
will.
was kind of, yeah.
Yeah. And I know you kept saying, um, I know you kept referring to the door of the parents' bedroom, and you're like, there's something over there, and it's
Something
very
over there.
angry. And you're
I
like,
do remember down the hall or something. It says I'm down the hall,
yeah. And
and it was like look down this way, and yeah.
yeah, and she actually got up off the chair she was sitting on and moved around to the other side of the room because she got tremendously uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
then
did.
Misty went over and sat down in that chair to do her Estes. What did you have happen, Misty? What do you remember?
Oh, honestly, it was kind of like a haze. When I get into it, I apparently I kind of sway, like I'm getting into a rhythm,
Mm-hmm.
and it honestly is. I black out almost doing it. Like I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just kind of there, open to hearing what I'm hearing and saying what I'm hearing.
And she literally does. Like she'll be sitting there and she literally is doing this. She rocks back and forth. Like
Yeah.
when she goes under Estes, and that's second investigation. And when she goes under Estes, she is like fully in it. Like, um, we definitely don't leave her under very long because
Mhm.
of how much she goes in. And because they tell you the longer you are in it, um, like the deeper in that trance you get or whatever. Um, and she definitely does do that. So we don't let her stay under a super long time. I do remember the moment that she got out of it, she said something came rushing up behind her and like went down her back and she was instantly on fire.
Mhm.
I remember her doing that and she came out of it. She's like, I'm done. Um,
Yeah,
but it's interesting. I also was using dowsing rods
yeah.
and I was saying, um, what direction are you in? I'm like, point to what direction are you in? And both rods went whoop, like that, pointed towards the parents' bedroom or
Toward
that
the
was
parents' bedroom.
Yeah.
Yes.
right in front of it. And it went right that. And I said, oh, so I said, you're over there in the parents' hallway. And when I was asking questions, it wasn't, I said, cross for yes, stay straight for no. And when I'd ask questions, they would say straight. And I'm like, where are you at? Point in the direction you're at. And they turned. And I said, so you're in the doorway. And they crossed for yes. So I thought that was very interesting. I don't know why I didn't do an estimate. I think we were running short on time, but I
Mhm.
didn't do an
Yeah.
method that night.
Yeah.
Um,
But I do remember Misty saying something was above her or behind her and she could feel it.
yeah,
Yeah, the whole time she was under.
yeah. And I went over and like felt, and you could feel like heat radiating off of her, and it was hot.
Mhm.
It was
Yeah.
so I'm not quite sure what she picked up on or what that was or what was trying to come in or what was trying to mess with Kathy. I don't think and I don't feel that personally, when we were there, I don't feel what was personally there was malicious.
No.
Of
I
course,
didn't either.
but of
No.
course, we were there right before a holiday. There was a lot of chaos going on, and maybe we didn't get the full effect if as if we would when we go back again, and that stuff not going on. Because I know my brother went out there a couple months ago, and he felt that there was something bad there. And so for my brother to actually say he feels there's something bad, there is, because
He could have picked up on one of the hardened criminals too.
and he could have, but he
You
said no.
know.
Yeah, he's like there is something bad there. So I don't know, but when we were there, I mean, there was something there that I think maybe if we would have went a full 8 hours, things might have gotten worse. Because at that point where we were getting, it seemed like it was starting to get a little bit more aggressive.
Like it was
Maybe if
building
we
up a
would have,
bit.
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, it
maybe,
could have been the time of night. We started early. We started in daylight,
yeah, we started
and
at 8.
the fourth floor there in the apartment, the atmosphere did change
Mhm.
when it got dark
So
outside.
yeah, maybe it does get a little bit more aggressive as the night goes on, and like we just weren't there long enough to experience it. Tanya just mentioned when we go back, we need 8 hours.
Yeah.
So Tanya feels that we need 8 hours, so we need 8 hours in there, and she's going to do some work. I feel that already. She's going to be doing work while we're in there. So
Hmm.
she's going to be. Um, I feel she's going to be connecting with a bunch of entities when we go in.
Yep.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Tanya. Thanks for sharing that with me. She's a medium, and she's very, very good at it. I'm telling you guys, she's very good at it. And for her to speak to me the way she just did is is insane. It's it's crazy. I don't know. I don't know. Have you guys ever and it's it's like a form of telepathy. I don't know how to do telepathy. I mean, I can try to tell people things all day. That don't mean they're going to get it. Like I don't know the science behind it, but Tanya knows how to. I don't know how she knows how to do it, but she does. Because when we were at Squirrel Cage Jail, she was in Colorado, and we felt her. Like she was in our thoughts, and she was, even though she wasn't like super helping us, she was still helping us. It was weird. Like
Yeah, she was there. She
I
was there. Well, I felt her in my dream too the night before.
yeah,
Tanya, I felt it in my dream.
I can't I I can't explain how she does what she does. I can't. Um she did the same thing when we went to Garnett. Misty wasn't able to go with us because Misty had some kidney stones or a kidney stone, whatever, and
Yeah.
had just had it removed, so she wasn't able to go. But while we were there, um, Tanya, we were outside. We came in, and Tanya's like, "I gotta pull Misty in," and Misty said at that point from home, she just went haywire. Like her
Yeah.
husband was like, "What is wrong with you?" And she's like, "I need to
Mhm.
be there. I need to be there," type of thing. So how she does it, I have no idea how it works. It's crazy. Um, but she literally, when I read we need to go back we need 8 hours, she literally told me because I need to talk. It was just weird. I need to talk to the spirits. I don't know. I can't even say what she says because I don't know what she said. I heard it. I heard it at that point. I heard what her thought was at that point. It was just weird. I don't know. Y'all can think we're crazy.
Well, she's going to be able to identify some for us and then shed some light on, some of them that were, communicating with us, in their own way. She may be able to get names, a little
Yeah.
bit more about them. So,
Hello, everybody.
yep.
Yeah. Yeah, you can think we're crazy. You can think whatever. I honestly don't care. I mean, I hope that you guys like us. And I'm hoping that the more you guys watch these deep dive haunt episodes, the more you're going to learn about us and our abilities and what we can do. Um, and, um, we have enough episodes to get us through the end of March. And then we'll be caught up with all of our episodes, all of our investigations that would be up to November 2025 by the end of March. So we do have these coming out every week. Um, and then at that point, I think I'm going to actually get into more podcasts and have other teams come on, locations, um, businesses, stuff like that. See if we can get some shout outs going out there, get some locations recognized. So I am working on that for April. That's a little leak. I haven't actually put that out there yet, but I actually really do want to also maybe have an episode with where it's Kathy and I have some people get on, um, not not really do um, I don't want to say not to come on to be like, oh, hey, I'm going to ask you a question and I want your feedback. Like, I don't want to do that type of thing,
Hmm.
but I would like for maybe somebody to come on, type out a situation, and just see what we can do as far as, um, how our abilities are to see what we pick up on, just so maybe people can get a better understanding of our abilities and how we can use them and how we can get them to work. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, there's so many possibilities. Um, but, like, let Kathy have the floor and be like, when I'm in a location, this is what I can do. And this is how, these are the things that I pick up on and da 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 da. And then, like Misty do that and let Tanya do that, just so you guys can get to
Hmm.
know us better and understand how we as investigators are and how we work when we go do investigations and everything, because it's kind of crazy. And I mean, I'm not even blaming anybody. If I was watching somebody and they were telling me that, I'd be like, yeah, okay. So I mean, I get it. Skepticism is out there. And until you actually get to know people and everything, it's kind of hard to really know. Like you have to take um, what people say kind of with a grain of salt until you get to know them on a more personal level. So I'm hoping that you guys learn how we are and learn who we are, how we work, and everything over these next couple of months with our investigations and being able to do these dives and go back into the locations and stuff like that, um, to be able to understand where we are, and how we are as a team. All right. I said I was going to ask at the end because we've been on here an hour and a half, ladies.
Wow.
Because
Wow.
because I went in, I did more history in the
Yeah.
beginning, and I am
Mhm.
going to try to do that. So these podcasts are probably going to be a little longer than normal, just because I want to give everybody a little bit of the backstory about the locations we go to. But anyway, knowing what we know now as of today, what would have been one thing that, thinking back to it, um, or whatever, what would have been one thing that you would have done or changed about that night? Um, like knowing everything that we know now. Is there something that we did that night that you would be like, now thinking about it, I wish I would have done it different? Or what it would have been one thing that you would have changed that night at Squirrel Cage Jail?
Well, I'll go first here. I think for me personally, um, for one thing, that's a really kind of interesting place, and the history is really neat in there. And everywhere you walk, there's, there's a lot of pictures and plaques and different things that have to do with the history of that building. For me, with being an empath, um, f- for me, it was more, I was getting caught up in a lot of the history, which is not a bad thing. It is a good thing, but not using my skill as much, like using, like getting caught up in the history of it opposed to actually, focusing on my investigation. And instead of like kind of like calming my mind down and allowing my body to feel the elements and everything around myself. So I have to make myself more open. And being the second investigation, I was learning about how to keep myself open and close my eyes. Maybe sometimes I close my eyes and I'll feel my environment around me. But I wasn't there that night. I felt like I was so caught up in the history of everything and just kept feeling like I was a hamster in a cage because, it really is a inhumane way to lock a person up in there, you know and then on the brighter side, I'd probably buy a second bottle of that wine that they have in their gift shop. I only bought one, but I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have buy two next time we go because it was good wine.
They they have an awesome gift shop out there. I'm not even gonna lie. They got an awesome gift.
Mm,
Kathy's got on her t-shirt. We all got t-shirts out there.
mhm.
Yeah, they got a bunch of wine, and yeah, they have an awesome. Myra
Yeah.
said, IDK how it works for others, but I do recognize empaths. Um, I I'm actually going to say that's something that I still struggle with a lot. Um, that I am kind of along the lines of Kathy. Like when I'm going into a location, I get caught up in like the stories, the history. Oh, this gremlin is there, so let's focus on him. And like trying to get like that, or like, oh, I saw that location on a show, so or I saw this location on a show. Let me try to think about that. And
Right.
I I need to dial like all of that back, wipe that slate clean, and just go in to the location going, this is what it is. I need to, because being an empath and that stuff too, I tend to be super open without realizing I'm open. But I have like all these other things going on that I don't really focus on it. So then when um, I get picked on or called out, it startles me, and I'm not fully enveloped in my surroundings because of all the other stuff. So I need to um, dial back the excitedness and everything when I go into locations. And I would have done it that night, and I will do it on locations going forward. I really need to just get in there, pull back, um, and be able to actually get involved with the environment of the locations that we were in. Now, with that being said, the first, I don't know, 4 or 5 places we went, I didn't fully get immersed in what was going on. Um, because we were a brand new team. I'm responsible for the team. I need to be responsible to make sure nobody's going to get hurt, nobody's going to fall, nobody's going to get attacked, nobody's going to, like whatever things could
Yeah.
happen. So I'm dialed back on these first few episodes because I need to make sure that, my team is safe. But now, a year and a half later almost, we're getting to the point where we're more comfortable and everything. So I am at a point now where I actually can start opening up and get that stuff. So Kate at Spirit of Marco, Myra says, Hi, I'm Myra. I've heard good things about your building. But anyway, okay, Misty, go ahead.
Um, well, I wish I had better equipment at the time. I didn't have working mics, so that I lost out on a lot of stuff I could have gone through. Because without that, there's not real context to the video, so it's hard to watch that and try to kind of figure out what's going on in the moment. Um, Again, I wish I kind of had a little more grasp on like channeling things because I still wasn't really ready for that as well. Um, Again, going through the Estes moment, that was the first time I had done it, so it was a little overwhelming, especially with that feeling that came on afterwards. But I've grown, I think, since then, so I think it's a lot better now. But yeah, I wish it would have been a little more um, informed before doing some of the stuff that I did, I guess, and had better knowledge on my equipment. I guess everybody has wishes like that when they first start out, so you know.
I'm still that way. Even like the locations we've recently done, I'm like, oh, I wish I would have done this now,
Yeah.
instead of how I handled it or whatever. But so I mean, it's always going to be there regardless. Um, but it's interesting. So, any last things you ladies want to say about the Squirrel Cage Jail? Our little fiascos that we had while we were there.
I'm
Mm.
looking
Anything
forward to
anybody?
going back. So, I mean, we're familiar with the layout now, and we might be more productive with what we come up with.
Right.
So, I mean, we did get, I mean, going over everything, it seems like we did get quite a bit, just, but we're going to have more equipment, and so we'll be able to document maybe a little bit clearer.
Yep. Yep. For sure. Misty, any
Mm.
anything?
I'm just looking forward to going up there and kind of, well, hopefully it's not in the middle of July either. So hopefully the
Uh,
weather's a little
it
Hot in
cooler.
there.
it probably won't. Um, it it probably won't. I mean, hopefully not. We already have a location for July. We don't have one for June. Um, yeah, this location, no joke. Um, thank you, Kate. This location, if it's cold outside, it's cold in the building. If it's hot outside, it's hot
Yeah.
in here. So it's kind of one of those
Yeah.
things where you kind of want to like do spring or fall and maybe late fall when it's nicer.
hmm
Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, I can do a little bit warm, but I am not good in cold. Not
It,
at all.
yeah, it's kind of like walking into a barely lit oven. Honestly, going into the stairwell because of the metal. It's
Yeah.
just the heat's just trapped in there. And if I do remember, they said they used to build fires underneath of it during the winter, and they would put ice underneath it during the summertime to help cool it, right?
I think so.
Or they pumped water underneath.
Something.
Something, sometimes
Yeah, I know that. What did the inmates they burned? Was it just paper and used the charcoal to write? So there's signatures
paper.
like up on the ceilings and on the walls. That's kind of
Yeah,
neat
Yeah,
to look at.
yeah,
Yeah.
paper ash. So
Mm,
like they would burn paper and then use it to like write on the walls and the ceiling.
mhm.
Um,
Their names, and some of them put dates of when they were there. That
because
was kind
yeah,
of interesting to see.
I remember them saying when she cooked, when the wife cooked, um, the heat from the kitchen would heat up a certain area. I just don't remember what it was. And then wasn't there like a summer kitchen or whatever, like in the summertime? It wasn't in there, like it was outside. I don't know. There's something.
I
It's a
can't
lot.
remember.
Yeah,
a
I
lot.
don't remember that. Maybe she
Y'all
did
got
do
to
some
remember
things
that was
outside.
2024. That was a hot minute.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. We are going to go ahead and get off of here for tonight. But we will be back next Sunday, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time for Edinburgh Manor. I might see. Kathy didn't go, but
I didn't get to go.
I think she's gonna get in on the video, but I think my brother wanted to go there, so we went with him. So I think I will see him Tuesday. I will talk to him, see if he wants in on the podcast, and we'll flip him in on that episode. If he wants to join, we'll get him in to talk about Edinburgh Manor with us and stuff, because I know he had some experiences there too. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
we can do that. So
Oh,
all right. But anyway, we're gonna get off of here. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We totally appreciate each and every
the
one of
heart.
you.
and
Thank
everything.
you.
And we'll stay on while I end it. But the
Yep.
rest of you, have a good week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.